Yeah, thought I heard a nigga say shit. You tryna come over the crib?
What's poppin', boys and girls? This your boy Too Sly, the Slap God, aka Dr. Dre Wasemakasani. Without wasting any further time, today I'm gonna be teaching you the fundamentals of getting a clean vocal. So basically, this tutorial is gonna be how to mix your vocals to a 2-track beat. Meaning, I'm gonna be showing you how to EQ, how to compress, how to add harmonic distortions. And then in terms of like the effects, automation, reverbs and delays, you guys can request that on the description box below. Without wasting any further time, let's play the song. By the way, this song is by my big boy Rdsr. It's a beatbox freestyle. The track was trending last year. I decided to show you guys how like I actually managed to like tweak his vocals to taste. Let's play the song.
Yeah, thought I heard a nigga say shit. You tryna come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear this shawty pretty until she take the mask off. Look, I don't wanna tell my bread south, but I don't got my money and right my mood off. Enough your sweet talk, ready to get this started. Hold up, young nigga gone retarded, young ain't cold-hearted. I know a couple of starving artists running out of ink and cartridge, but I bet on the thought he got an double M sitting there with compartments. Nice, big, better though. Nice, gon' pop like Beretta though. See through they bullshit, kaleidoscope. Take out my wrist palms, forehead in my horoscope. My trap phone, hit two, we speed up. If that convo don't pay me, then I'm done talking. Girl, I chokeholds you back then, you was cock blocking. Am I bagged out? I don't be bench watching. Opened up my throat chakra, beatboxing. Sweater suburbs scattered. Detox and street dances. Yeah, it's only third iPhone TikToking. Almost thought I heard it. Said he said something. A big brother's always ready to do something. Sucking up to see like he just scared of the feds or something. Right, boy, you can't even get a little bit of hit or something. Damn, a lot is sicking. Oh, you miss me, darling? Are you reminiscing? That is so convincing. Some of you niggas making forgetting a Christian. Said she couldn't forget and Zavek inside of the kitchen, inside of the bedroom, and she needs some leg room. Telling me she coming home soon, so what is he gonna do? I play her the old school. You know the Marvin Gaye, take a sip of the Chardonnay. It's ready to get grooving. Tell her I'm not a student. I'm on for Rick Rubin, but this stay blooming. New gasoline with the bass booming. This Keenan is so fluent. Sick lyricist, need my medicine. We done talk of the conversation isn't intricate. With a sprout with a Benelin. Put the chair on top of the sprig of my cinnamon. Somebody look at the smelling and ligament chasing these Benjamins. Somebody let him in.
It's banging. It's by my boy Rdsr, beatbox freestyle. Make sure that you check it out. I'll leave the links on the description box below. The song sounds clean. The compression is on point. There's a little bit of like harmonic distortions there. Without wasting any further time, let me show you what I did. So first things first, I like gain staging. I'll teach about gain staging as well. Gain staging is very important because that's where you find the sweet spot between the vocal and the instrumental. You see, you need to have that balance just to make sure that nothing is clipping. Because analog plugins work precisely like perfectly at a certain level. So you need to gain stage and find your taste. So the vocals should sound more or less like balanced before you actually add a new plugins. So I'm just gonna bypass all the plugins that I used so that you guys can see what I did. This is how the vocal sounds without the plugins engaged. Never mind the other stuff. These are my sends, meaning there's like reverbs and delays, and I did automation and stuff like that. But anyway, let me just play the song dry.
Hey, this shit is close.
So obviously the vocals are low, you know, there's no effects, there's nothing there. So I started adding this trimmer plugin. I was just trying to make sure that I'm not gonna be clipping when I add these plugins. The second plugin that I added was a plugin from Waves, NLS channel. This one is just to add tone, warmth into your vocals. I like this plugin a lot because it gives your vocals like some character. In most cases, I can just leave it at 0, but let's just play it solo so that as soon as I add plugins, you can just hear what's happening.
tryna come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear this shawty pretty until she take the mask off. Look.
Right, obviously, you won't hear much difference because there's not a lot going on there. If you want to learn more about EQing, you can just check my tutorial about EQing, how to get vocals that cut through the mix. I'll leave the link in the description box below. With this one, I had to cut the lows because I was trying to tame the plosives, making sure that there's no pop sounds and there's no mud. So at least plus minus I cut up to like 170 kilohertz, and then I had to dip that 500 kilohertz range to get rid of the mud. In fact, let me just solo that so that you can hear what's happening there. Right, there's mud and there's a lot going on there, so I boosted just 0.8 dBs of brightness because I needed to get brightness from the vocals. So just to have more or less like a taste of what I'm gonna be working with. So that was like cleaning up, boosting, and taming at the same time. So now we come to this plugin, a de-esser. It's called an Rdsr. If you check out my tutorial about EQ, you'll remember that I once taught you guys that you must clean, tame, and then boost, and then tame again. So in this instance, I was taming this 4 kilohertz range because it was giving me a little bit of like an issue there because the vocal was like too poignant. It was too sharp. It was harsh to the ear. So let me solo that frequency and then play back. As soon as we continue, you'll see exactly what I was doing down there. I'll go back to these specific frequencies, especially the first EQ where I was dipping out the mud, and then the de-esser where I was actually taming that harsh frequency. Then I added a compressor. With this one, I was not like compressing a lot, but I can see there was like 6.3 of gain reduction there. It was just me controlling like the peaks. This is just getting more or less like a taste of what to expect when I am to compress as I go forward, because I don't just use one compressor, but I use quite a lot of compressors, just to achieve the sound that I want.
You trying to come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear this shawty pretty until she take the mask. You trying to come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear this shawty pretty until she take the mask off.
Yeah, as you can hear, like there's a little bit of like control there, and then I added a C4, my trusty, just to tame the highs and tame the lows. The mids, I didn't tame them that much because I still wanted to retain the thickness there.
You trying to come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear this shawty pretty until she take the mask off. Look, I don't want to tell my brave self.
So as you can hear now, the vocal is starting to get tighter, and then my final stages on this main channel for the lids was the de-esser. I was taming 6 kilohertz frequency range. There's two options there. You can choose to attenuate a wide band or specifically the highs. So I was just tackling the highs. I realized as I was compressing with the C4, the highs started poking out. So let me play back.
You trying to come over the crib for real and take this off? You trying to come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear this shawty pretty until she...
There were too much S's, so I had to use this de-esser to tame that vocal. This one is called a noise suppressor. This session was done late at night, and there were like random sounds from itswiri crickets, so there were some noises going on. So this plugin is very good with cleaning up the background noise, especially if sometimes an artist is recording and then it happens that he bumps into the mic and then there's like a clicking sound or some weird sounds from the background. This is your trusty. So I added that one. I added again an NLS from Waves. It's the same as the first one that I added, but there's different flavors. And then this one was just to add body. It just brought life into Yazaya's vocals. Let me play it back with and without it.
You trying to come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear this shawty pretty until she take the mask off.
Guys, remember with mixing, it's just subtle moves that you do. You don't just do drastic moves. It's like you're building a house. You start with the foundation, and then from Waves, they've created a studio rack where you can still add more plugins. So there's a lot going on there. I added the gate. I still needed to tame some of the background noise, and then there was my favorite EQ, the VEQ4. But I didn't do much because I was just boosting the 10k kilohertz frequency, and then I bumped out the low frequency range because I needed to get body from his vocals. And then the REQ was still cleaning up because I realized from the C4, the initial C4, that one there, I lost a lot of body from his vocals, so I had to like bump it up somewhere there around the 243 kilohertz range, and then give it a bump a bit around the 700 kilohertz range just to give his vocals body. And then there's another compressor. This is where I was like controlling his vocals, just making sure that the grit is there. And then I didn't go crazy with like the attack time and the release time. I'll explain that specifically on the tutorial, compression. And then I added a CLA. This is my favorite. Preferably for vocals, I just choose to go with Bluey, and the vocals just sound nice. So you'll have to like play with your control, pull your attack and release time, set it like properly. My go-to setting for this, start at ratio 4. Try and play around with these knobs, the input and the output, and make sure that you gain stage. You don't double get volume, whereas like there's no proper compression happening, and then play with the release and the attack time. That's it. But for Yazaya's vocals, the Blakey just sounded very dope. And then I added another de-esser. You see, so I'm boosting, taming, cleaning up, boosting. That's the whole process, guys. That's the whole point. I was doing like a wide band, like a band pass, not a high pass. I still felt like specifically the 7,000 kilohertz range had problem frequencies, so I was taming that. I'll solo that and then we'll just play that. So presets are good for a starting point, but you need to tweak more because sticking to presets like session for session, it won't help you. You need to tweak specifically to the taste. And then I added fatness there just to add body into his vocals, and then brightness as well. I went crazy with that. Then I de-essed, and then this reverb is linked actually to that. So let me play back his vocals without the studio rack and with the studio rack.
You trying to come over the crib for real and take this off?
And this is with a big change. It's gonna be a big change. This is a big move. Just hear it out.
You tryna come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear the shawty pretty until she take the mask off. Look, I don't wanna tell my brave self, but I don't got my money and right my mood off. Enough your sweet talk. Ready to get this started.
Ooh, you see, there's a lot going on there. But like, guys, this is what I did in terms of like the studio rack. His vocals are mean. They've got grit. They've got bite. They pop through the mix. So I decided to add this plugin from FabFilter. It's called Certain. So this is my favorite harmonic distortion. It brings harmonics into the vocals. It makes them sound warm. My favorite preset was warm, but then again I tweaked specifically frequency to frequency. I did around the mid-range area plus 2.4 dBs. I boosted it up because I felt like his vocals, he's got very thin vocals, so I was trying to get the mids as much as possible. And then I boosted also his high mids by 2.47 as well. And then I didn't go crazy with the highs. My concept using this was just trying to get more body out of his vocals. So I'm gonna play without and with the Certain plugin. Let's check it out.
You tryna come over the crib for real and take this
That's
off?
without.
I swear the shawty pretty until she take the mask off. Look, I don't wanna tell my brave self, but I don't got my money. You tryna come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear the shawty.
Night and day, guys. You can hear like the vocals were like crisp, they popped. So now I added another compressor, but this one was just for control. just to make the vocals like tight, because I like tight vocals, you know, it's easy to control. So it's not much. I don't think you can be able to hear it, but like there's more control. Let me just play it bypassed and engaged.
You tryna come over the crib for real and take this off?
not
I
engaged.
swear the shawty pretty until she take the mask off.
So now
Look,
it's engaged.
I don't wanna tell my brave self, but I don't got my money and right the my mood off. Enough.
Right, so the vocals pop. They pop really hard. Then I still felt like these vocals actually needed flavor. They needed some, you know, some tone, more tone. This song was just it's a freestyle, you know. He was just going in. So I just felt like, you know what, I want his vocals to stand out because it didn't have like bakings and stuff like that. If you can see, it's just the mains, and this track is the same as this one. It's just a duplication of this. Right, let's continue. And then I added like an R-Vox. R-Vox is the one that adds tone. So I'll just, you know, night and day, you'll hear it out.
You tryna come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear the shawty pretty until she take the mask off. Look, I don't wanna tell my brave self.
See, there's tone there, body, that's what I can hear. And then I added another Harmonic Distortion plugin, but with this one was just to add flavor again, you know, because I wanted his vocals to like flip and pop out of the mix. It's Kramer from Waves. It's a tape machine. I like this one a lot. I managed to receive a vintage sound using this plugin. That's why it was my go-to. Let me just play it with and without. Without.
You tryna come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear.
Right, with.
You tryna come over the crib for real and take this off? I swear the shawty pretty until she take the mask off. Look, I don't wanna tell my brave self.
So guys, you can hear from where we started till where we are now. You can hear a big difference. Then I realized as I was editing this tape machine, for some reason, the highs were too much. I had to tame. That was my last final stage. But like this is like a stock plugin from Pro Tools. It's a de-esser. I was taming the S's. Let me just solo out exactly what I was trying to tame. Too bright, too sibilant, so I was trying to tame that. So let me play it without the de-esser and with.
You tryna come over the crib for real and take this
That's without.
off? I swear the shawty pretty until she take the mask
And
off.
that's with.
Look, I don't wanna tell my brave self, but I don't got my money and right the my mood off. Enough of your sweet talk. Ready to get this started. Hold up, young and gone retarded. Young ain't cold-hearted. I know a couple of stars.
Honestly, that's about it. That's what I did in terms of mixing Yazaya's vocals. They sound very crisp. They cut through the mix just for fun, flavor. I like doing the stutter effects and like the reverse effects. Should you want to know, just please request on the comment section below. Let me play you specifically the section where I went crazy. Just listen to the beat. There was like a stop tape effect. There was where I filtered out the beat, and then this one was the reverse effect, and then that's a starter effect, just to bring character to the song and make it interesting. If you want to know about this specific trick, just comment below.
Yeah, it's on the third iPhone TikTok, and almost thought I heard it. Said he said something. A big brother's always ready to do something. Talking up to see like it.
It sounds like an already popping song, you know, ready for radio. I think that's about it for today. Should you want to know more about automation, delays, reverbs, and how I automate all that stuff, and also the starter effects, and in fact everything that you want to know about, just holla at me. Keep requesting. I got like a lot of gems for you guys, so I would love to hear from you as to like what else you want to see. Maybe should you want to see me create a beat live on the spot? Should you want to see me mix from start to finish? That's it. Feel free to request. Slap God, Too Sly, Dr. Trewa Semakasani. I'm signing out. Peace.
Yeah, it's on the third iPhone TikTok, and almost thought I heard it. Said he said something. A big brother's always ready to do something. Talking up to see like he just scared of the feds or something. Right, boy, you can't even get a little bit of hit or something. Damn, I love this second. Oh, you miss me, darling? Are you reminiscing?